Mm. We should have some good icebreakers for future.
Do you have one?
Um, I have one idea, but yeah, there is some preparation needs to be done. Like with the Slido, we do have those QR codes. We scan them, just questions pop up, we answer
Okay.
them, and it becomes to be quite funny. Everyone tries to be funny, and for those 5 minutes, it's quite recharging all this.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay,
okay.
I guess we started. I can
We,
see
yeah,
myself in YouTube.
great. Should we
Okay,
say hello?
yeah, hello everyone. For starting to join, continue joining. Should we wait for a few minutes and then I'll introduce yourself, right?
Yeah,
Good.
I believe so.
Myself, yourself, ourselves.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Good.
good.
What is really nice about this webinar that people are joining from different countries. So
Oh yeah, like globalization is a king, right? Not only
join
data.
join forces.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Actually, the
connecting
same as
brains.
an yeah, actually the same as an organization. So if we have different units, different teams, once you really want to achieve huge success, you have to collaborate all together.
True, true. I agree fully. Like there is one moment of the company where you can just stuck to your projects or you can scale,
Yeah.
face more challenges that more bigger companies faced. And in that
Yeah.
case, of course, partners, other companies, globalization is helping. I see that there is no other ways like to be like fully international big companies just being only you.
Yeah.
So yeah. And performance management can help us this for sure.
Yeah. So we
It's just
dive
one of
a
the,
bit
yeah.
deeper for this.
Okay, 17 people watching.
It's always a question once you have some event starting on some particular time. It's always a question. Should we be polite and wait for people who are a bit late? Or should we start on time to be polite with the people who join on time?
Well, you know what? That's a really good question. Yeah. Well, because this is a really difficult question, sorry, the topic. So I assume we can slowly start sometimes
Slowly,
just to catch up
slowly.
on this timeline. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
for sure that you have similar issue that I have. Yeah,
yeah.
regarding
Let's
like
start. So we have encouragement to start. So let's start.
great green light. Let's
Yeah.
start.
So let's
Let's
start.
share my screen and I'll introduce myself, Brigitta, and everyone else. Okay, good. Can you see my screen,
Yes,
Brigitta?
perfectly. Yeah,
Great. So,
great.
thank you so much for coming. I just want to quickly introduce ourselves before giving the mic to the Brigitta, who is the start of our meeting today, who will basically do a giveaway of high-level expertise of my favorite topic in HR, which is performance management. And yeah, first of all, Brigitta have more than 12 years of experience. There is, of course, we cannot mention thousands of the companies and cases she been through, but overall, highly specialized in the region. And as far as I know, the certified from the top-notch industry. I forgot the name, the ISSS.
ACC, yes, yes. So
ISSC, yeah.
yeah, it was last week I received the ACC certification in coaching
My
from
congrats.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
just
it's an achievement, yeah. Yeah,
well, you know, I always consider them just one of the social proofs from the top-notch organization, just proving your expertise, like that
yeah,
you already have.
yeah.
So yeah,
Thank
one
you.
of the achievements. Congrats with this. And my name is Zamir. I am the senior HR automation consultant at PeopleForce for 4 years. I do have other experience in actually the similar HR tech, but also IT and outsource. And I do not have such social proofs as Brigitte have and such great experience of this one, but I do talk on HR all day long, all those years with the persons with the expertise, little like Brigitte, or I assume less, of course. But yeah, really favorite of fan of these topics. And before I pass, just want to say a few words about the organization who's hosting us this event. Overall, it's People Force, all-in-one HR solution. Um, uh, this actually numbers are quite outdated. We do have more than 1,000 of the companies. I think more than 1,500. The countries, there are more countries already. And just not to be confused with the number of customers, because there are some customers who and companies who started to scale using such frameworks as a people force when they even 10 or less. But there are some companies who do have 4 or 5,000 size of companies as well. So big diverse of the customers and expertise, of course. So yeah, what you need to know about us, GDPR compliant, we're really core here, European company. Regarding the HRM certified, which is ISO 27201, European standard of security management, regular pen tests, everything is public. Just a few words regarding the modules that we have. As you can see, there's 6 different modules. Like we really want to be all in one. And as you can see, there's like basically everything to cover whole life cycle of the employee from the moment you found them, from the moment they applied, and then the pre-boarding, onboarding, uh, and of course, my favorite moment, the performance management, and then all other engagement, performance development, time tracking, and all those, just to have everything in one place because it's kind of make life easier. So thank you for this moment, Brigitta. Thank you for your giveaway of this high expertise and especially this really important topic of performance culture at the companies, which is always trendy, not trendy, but in the good way, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Zamir. I believe you were saying I don't have those expertise, but actually I believe we have what we have in common. So it's a passion to help organizations and people to grow. So thank you for today. Actually, it's an honor for me to be here and to share my experience in managing teams in managing performance. And just for the listeners and watchers, a quick reminder that we'll have an event planned for 1 hour. And as well, you can add your questions to the chat and we'll have 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the presentation for Q&A session. Okay, so I believe we can move, yeah?
Yeah.
Right?
Don't miss your chance. Ask your questions while
As
we have
always,
Brigitta.
yeah,
Yeah.
as always, the most complicated part is to share the screen.
Oh
Wait a
yeah.
second. Yes, this one. Share. Oh, I didn't remember my last choice. Wait a second. Present. Now it should be all good. And we're getting to the place where Zamir stopped. Yeah, good. So, okay, so then right now I lost my clock on the screen, so please guide me. Because usually this is the performance-oriented culture and performance reviews and learning and growth mindset are the topics so I can talk a lot. Okay, English language a bit limits me because it's my not native language, but as well idea that today we'll be talking about performance-oriented culture, what are the main benefits as well, what are potential risks associated with it, and then we'll touch a bit what is a growth mindset and continual learning aspects, and finally we explore a bit taking in consideration the time restrict about how to conduct the effective performance reviews. And then we talk about then we talk about the organization. I really like the Henry Ford Kurt's quote about moving together. So it's really important aspect talking about organizations and talking about creating culture. It's because creating culture is not just a strategy, one of the processes. It's a really transformational journey, which requires a lot of resources, good mindset, and collaboration all together. Good. So it comes most probably from the coaching industry, that once we really want to communicate well, we need to align the meaning of the terms. And why? Because it's very often we say the same word, but actually we have absolutely different meaning in mind. So let's talk what is performance-oriented culture. And usually, if you start searching on a Google, you'll find a lot of different descriptions, defining a lot of different elements of what is performance-oriented culture. In some variations, you will find high performance culture and so on. But then it comes to my definition. I really like that one, that performance-based culture is all about testing, learning, applying, and adjusting faster. And yeah, it contains a lot of in this definition. It's about clear goals, regular feedback, strong passion. It's about believing in company's vision, and so on and so on. A lot of actual elements. And the technology, processes, people, all together, all elements have to have actually alignment on where they're going and what they want to achieve in order to create the culture. So let's delve into the main characteristics to understand more what we are talking about. So there are six, of course. It could be many more characteristics which describe the performance-oriented culture, but it's a lot shared vision and goals. And it's really important for each and every company, definitely, to have a compelling vision. But as well, it's more important to have everybody moving the same direction. And what does it mean in practical situation? It means that each member should know the goals. It can be OKRs, it can be SMART goals, and so on. But as well, they have to have a really good good realization how it matches with the daily activities, daily tasks. Because very often what happens that people they do perform the daily tasks, but they have no idea how the daily job contributes to the company's vision. So in this particular way, it's really important that HR would support the management and employees to align that vision and goals across the company. And here it comes the second part, that if we really want to have a performance-oriented culture and create it in a proper way, we really have to have the engaged and empowered employees. And when then we have that power in the company, we can achieve really a lot of things together. But it's not easy, as you know, especially in these days. It's not easy to have the engaged and about employees. We'll talk about a bit later. Then we'll touch the performance review meetings. How to make employees to be more important and more engaged and more empowered. And because the large part of the responsibility on how our employees are engaged and empowered actually falls on managers, on how they work with employees on a daily basis, how they learn, how they help them to learn, how they motivate them, what level of freedom to make decisions the employees have, and so on and so on and so on. So then we move to the strong leadership, because in performance-oriented culture, whereas always should be a strong leader who consistently inspires and motivates. For employees to be willing to do more, to take accountability for the actions they do, to really be ready to outperform the targets, it always needed somebody who pushes or keeps pushing, and as well support them. And then I say keeps pushing. It's not about to take strong tools to make people work, but as well to keep pushing in a really consistent, in a really positive way. Definitely, without continuous learning, without a growth mindset, it would be difficult to achieve, because this is, for me, this is the fundamentals on how overall the person, the team, or the company grows, learns, and achieve results. So we'll get into the learning and growth mindset in a second, and as well the effective performance review. We'll review it after the continuous learning and growth mindset. So I don't focus on this right now. And as I mentioned previously, and we start with the Henry Ford quote, that if you really want to achieve success, great success, all teams should be working together. If teams start working in a silos, if we start seeing some competitiveness, we'll possibly get into some potential risks, but not the success. So collaboration between not only HR and management, not only management and employees, but as well collaboration across the company, including top management, including middle management, HR, and include cross-functional and cross-team collaboration across the company. So yeah, okay, let's let's move on. So once we really keen to create them, or once we really into the creating culture and already start seeing the results, so definitely you will see that it helps to improve performance, and automatically it helps to improve profitability. Definitely, if our people are engaged, motivated, if they take responsibility for what they do, if they have possibility to learn, they become more innovative, they when more creative, they start looking for some alternatives. So definitely company can feel that there is a boost of innovation in the company. Once people have possibility to learn, to grow, to achieve self-realization in the area they are working, definitely it helps to retain, if you can say so, retain talents, or it helps, it makes employees to stay longer in the company, because they feel that the company actually takes care about their professional and as well personal growth. And yeah, if all those things, all those things happen inside the company, it definitely will be reflected for the outside customers, because empowered, engaged, innovative, creative employees definitely shares the spirit and energy outside for company customers as well. Yeah. Okay. So I'm a bit rushing, because taking taking time to time look to the clock. So yeah, if you have any questions, if something you would like to get more, so you can always type the questions into the comments, and we'll be glad to answer them later on. Yeah, so if we're talking about really nice setup of performance-oriented culture, we always should be cautious about some potential risk, because we're working with the people, and sometimes people are keen to be better than others, and sometimes managers actually pushes to be better and better and better, and sometimes focuses only just on the results, on the targets, on the on the being number one. Such behavior actually can cause a really toxic environment. That's why, as I mentioned previously, HR support is necessary, because we all know that the people who go to management roles, they usually have an idea that they really want to achieve. They really want to move forward. And sometimes this balance about supportive and being pushy slips out of the way. So the HR support here is really necessary in order to create culture in a sustainable way, not to make teams working in silos in super high competition environment, and so on and so on. Because definitely those things will lead to the high stress, to the risk of burnout, and definitely it will afterwards, if employee feels a lot of constant stress, they will be leaving the company. So definitely it's not a good option for any company in order to be to move forward the targets and goals and vision. And definitely if HR support is HR is not supporting the management, the employees, if it's a lack of support, if everybody takes care about themselves only, it can lead to some negative consequences as well. So yeah, lack of support and resources for employees won't be a good idea. So it's really important to make sure that we have that, including some systems, some processes, systems processes, some learning material, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah, good. How we moving? All right, moving. Then we talk about performance oriented culture. For me, it's as I mentioned previously, it's a key fundamentals is the growth mindset and continuous learning. And I believe many of you, for many of you, the concept of fixed and growth mindset, especially if you're working in HR role, especially if you are a manager, this idea of those two mindsets, it's not new. It was presented by Carol Dweck back in 2012, and the idea of having a growth mindset means that you believe that person's abilities aren't innate, that you can improve through the effort, learning, and persistence. While the fixed mindset means that you believe that you are born with some particular set of skills and you can't change them. So the really simple examples, for example, if I failed the exam and I have a fixed mindset, I can say that, I'm not capable, most probably in math. I'm not capable, I don't know, in some other subject or so. Because there is a belief that, okay, math, it's not for me. For example, if I have a growth mindset, so what I'm thinking that, okay, I failed this exam most probably because I didn't put enough effort. Maybe I need to study more in order to manage math, to understand it better, and so on and so on. An exam comes is not a like huge something negative, but it comes an event where you can get the feedback. Okay, I need to learn more. So it's all about the attitude. It's all about the attitude, how we face the challenges, how we accept the failure, and how they adapt and evolve as a result later on. So, and if we start talking about promoting the growth mindset in the company, it's really difficult because it comes within each person, and people are different. People come with different mindsets, different attitudes. And sometimes, sometimes you can hire people with the right attitude. And this is what we do in HR. Then we are recruiting people. We're trying to hire people with the right mindset and attitude, but still not everyone, definitely not everyone has a growth mindset or that really positive attitude that I can learn everything, I can put effort and I can learn. So how organizations and how HR can support and promote the growth mindset, which is the background for continuous learning. So firstly, it's really important to empower the middle management to learn, to grow as a people, as a persons, and as a professionals. I really suggest, and most probably the recent studies shows that coaching and mentoring abilities helps leaders to be better managers. So it's actually to promote and help middle managers, especially middle managers, to be as a coaches, more leader act and behave as a coaches. Definitely is to empower employee. And then I say empower employee. I usually have few things in mind. So firstly, that we give opportunity for people to learn. Secondly, we give them a chance to try, meaning we give them opportunity uh, to learn from the mistakes and to take responsibility for what they do. So this is the empowerment. People feel empowered, then they feel that their opinion matters and they have some particular level of freedom to make decisions and actually to take actions for them. So this is about employee empowerment. So then failure acceptance. This is how the company, because it's usually common practice that we say that, yeah, we have open communication and we're really open to and accept the failure and mistakes and we learn from mistakes and so on. But then it comes on a daily basis, on a practice. It seems that some of the employees are some kind of punished due to reason that they failed and so on. So then you say that you do accept the failure. Please make sure that it really happens, because saying and doing sometimes it's not the same. One of my favorite things as well in organizations, and we talk about continuous learning, it's best practice sharing. And let's take an example. For example, we have a sales team. I don't know why sales, maybe sales, because a huge part of my professional life was sales. But let's imagine that we have a sales team of, I don't know, 6 sales managers, yeah? And it's usually the salespeople work more individually because they work with the clients, they sell, they achieve targets, and so on and so on. They usually have the really huge sense of achievement. They really want to be first, and so on and so on. So for them, it's really difficult sometimes to share the best practice they discovered in cooperation, in communicating with the customers. But if the company actually set up the tone that everybody needs to share the best practices and actually supports those meetings, it can be HR support as well, but as well managerial support, that, okay, you discovered a new way how to sell it, I don't know, faster, quicker, more to the same client and so on. So it's really good to have, I don't know, monthly or bi-weekly or at least once per quarter, a meeting where everybody sits down and presents what they achieve in a better manner than they used to do before. It's really important that the colleagues would take that approach, because this is the common learning. The best practice sharing is one of the powerful tools for the teams, but as well, it can be, if correctly set in the company, as a tool for different teams. For example, there is a team, I don't know, finances and the sales team, and you would say what they have in common. But actually, if they would have a regular quarterly meeting, sharing some practices, what they do, for example, with the customers, because for finance team has internal customers, sales team has external customers, but idea of communication, of managing the expectations is the same. So despite the fact they are internal, external, and so on, so it can be a way to cooperate in a really more positive way, sharing between even different teams across the company. Definitely, if we empower and if we promote the continuous learning, it should be some opportunities for career advancement. Because what if each and every employee can ask, what if I learn, I grow up, what is the next step for me in this company? Because it's definitely worth invest in each and every employee to learn, but as well, it's important to ensure some opportunities for them in order to keep them in the company and not make them leave the company. And as well, learning resources. And it's not enough. We have a database, you can join anytime and learn something. What is really working then the companies actually allocate time for employees to learn, not only to give access to the tool, but as well to allocate some time and as well to celebrate some learning milestones as well. Some of the learning milestones can be brought to the best practice sharing meeting and so on and so on. So it's really important to make it not only, oh yeah, we have the learning platform, but as well to make it as a full process. There are much more things how to promote the continuous learning, including, for example, some personalized development plans. It can be, maybe I'm not a fan, but it can be some incentives for learning, maybe especially for some specialists and so on and so on. But I believe that the biggest value of giving employees chance to learn is that they grow as a person. Each of them can grow as a person, as a professional. So across all those things, HR support is really, really mandatory. Okay. To be honest, I feel a bit strange that nobody's communicating with me during the webinar, but it's fine. I know that we have such formats, so yeah. Okay, so looking at my time, which flies really fast, and jumping into performance review. So yeah, so usually to talk about performance review, I don't know, I can do it all day. But let's just try to grab some tips on effective, how to conduct the effective performance reviews. So then we talk about performance review. I really like them to call as one-on-one meetings, because performance review for me makes think about really rare meetings, maybe once or two per year. Then we talk about one-on-one meetings. We still keep in mind that we'll be talking about performance, but as well, we have an idea that it's a regular meetings, which are the most valuable tool for each and every manager. And it's, I believe, the main tool for managers in order to lead teams successfully. And the purposes of one-on-one meetings is most probably clear, obvious. That is to manage expectation purposes, the manage expectations for both sides, for employee and the manager, as well for giving and receiving feedback. So again, both sides. It's actually to ensure business continuity, to ensure that targets are achieved in a way we are planning to achieve them, and as well the one-on-one meetings designed to build relationship, trust, and empower employees to perform. So this is the only way where we sit together and align what is success, how it looks like, what we need to achieve, how we'll be doing, and so on and so on. And definitely, if we talk about performance reviews meeting, it's not only about performance, but it as well about a person who actually sits in front of you as a manager. So yeah, most probably I won't stay on this slide for long, but definitely there are something to consider when we talk about effective performance review or effective one-on-one meetings. Definitely coach approach, which I already mentioned a bit earlier. It's about asking versus telling. We'll have a quick view on this. It's a regular feedback, and of course but then we talk about regular feedback. We talk about really in a good manner provided feedback. It's art how to provide feedback correctly in order to be valuable. And as well, we talk about strong relationship. We talk about equal power, because none of us in organization are higher or better, because we all are humans, and it's really important to keep that equal power balance, especially for managers of the employees. Definitely, it's an open communication. And again, then we talk about open communication. It's really important to match and align the terms. What does it mean for you, and what does it mean for me as an employee and as a manager and as an HR person? Because it's really often misleads to different interpretations. And we talk about open communication, and definitely clear expectations, not only on goals, but as well on the all other important things. Then we do like contract, because what is a working together? It's like a written contract, how we collaborate together. And for this, you need to manage many, many, many expectations. Yeah, one of the common questions, it's how often and what about to talk then it comes to one-on-one meetings or performance review meetings. And there is no like gold standard that you have to meet weekly, or you have to meet bi-weekly or once a month and so on. But it should be a balance. It should be a balance, and it should be a strong sense of alignment. So once, for example, you talk formally, and really, for me, it goes to the annual review, and of course, to meet once or two per year with the employee to align the goals, align expectations, achieve results, provide feedback. Definitely, it's not enough. If we talk about often and personal, most probably it's just friendly chats, not touching the performance itself. Because if we have really friendly connection, most probably it is difficult to provide really good feedback, objective feedback, and so on and so on. So there is different aspects, and make sure which way is or which recurrence is the most suitable for you and for your company, because it really depends on the industry. It depends on the pace in which you're working, and as well how many employees managers have, and so on and so on. So there are a lot of different things to consider, but idea is to be online. So it shouldn't be like quick operational stand-ups. It shouldn't be once per year. It should be regular, consistent meetings with predefined agenda, where both sides knows when and what you will be talking about. Yeah, if we take regular meetings, there are a lot of different parts what to talk about, including motivation, including feedback, including personal growth for employee, and so on and so on. But if we take the part where we focus on performance, I really want to put here a note that please always add two perspectives. One is for previous period and another for upcoming. Why it's important? Because if we dedicate time to review what happened in a previous agreed period, what worked, what didn't work well, This is where actual learning comes, because the idea of the performance meeting is not to tell, not to give clear advices what and how the employee have to do something, but it's important that employee consciously understand how his actions or his or her actions related with the KPIs, with goals he needs to achieve, and how he is responsible for the actions he or she does. So it's really important to make sure that you talk what happened in the previous period, and as well, it's really important to discuss where and what focuses should be for the next upcoming period. It's not necessarily a week, it's not necessarily 2 weeks, but it should be some kind of period you are working on. So talking about priorities, talking about obstacles employees can face during this period, it's really important because it helps employee to overcome some internal barriers, because most probably, and in many cases, they already know if they see the targets, if they see the goals they need to achieve, most probably they already know what kind of difficulties they face. And it's so important to discuss them before they start working, because this is where comes the push and as well the support for employees in order to perform better and well. So idea of dividing into those two parts, then we talk about performance itself, is to have clarity, responsibility, accountability, and well. I really like the motto that I came in with a problem into the one-on-one meetings, and I came out with a clarity and accountability for my actions. So once you feel that employees left the meeting feeling that they are empowered to achieve what they need to achieve, this is a really effective one-on-one meetings. And yeah, running through the additional tips. So power of questions. I usually say that there is no magic questions. There is no the list of magic questions, but there is a way to ask in a more effective way, and just to have an idea about closed and open questions. That usually closed questions gives a sense of fear and encourages excuses. Employees start feeling that they are blamed, that they did something not in the right way. So usually then they tend to find excuses for their actions, or just ask yes or no. And then we talk about open questions. Open questions don't have the sense of blame, and open questions stimulate thinking. It shows that actually you not blaming the employee, but you actually care about how they're doing, how they're performing, what difficulties they are facing, and so on. So instead of having closed question, please try to formulate your questions in an open way in order to get better answers, in order to stimulate thinking, and in order to have that equal power that we all here together to solve problems and find the best answers how to perform better. And sorry for that. Sorry for that. Yes, and most probably last but not least thing to consider. Then we talk about the really effective performance review meetings, one-on-one meetings, is a power of listening. Very often, especially in nowadays, our heads are busy with something else, but not with a person who is in front of us. So here you will have homework. So you will have just to pay attention once you have a conversation with somebody. no matter with whom. It can be a family member, a friend, or a colleague. Just make attention where's your attention at that moment when somebody is talking. Are you focusing on yourself, thinking about things you will have to do after the conversation? Are you waiting for the pause because you already have the answer, or you actually listening what the person is saying, or you actually seeing the person, how the body language is connected with the content person is saying. So please try and see the difference, because once you actually listen actively, you will have those questions, which common in a common way, it's a problem to ask. And this is the problem to ask questions because we don't listen. So it's all related. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and the last slide for me, it's about HR supported, and I will be giving a mic to Zamir afterwards. So definitely, as I mentioned in the beginning, in order to create performance-oriented culture, the collaboration across the company is really important, and HR should be supporting management with the tools and systems, with mentoring and coaching, definitely helping to create the feedback culture, definitely organizing the learning resources, time allocation, and so on and so on. So there are a lot of things to consider because creating a culture, it's not just that one process to create. It's a journey which actually requires some patient resources, but definitely worth to do that. Yeah, I think, Zamir, this is it from my side. We'll jump afterwards in the Q&A sessions, but right now it's a word for you. And I'm stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brigitta. It was really, really interesting. I've already took some insights, actually. I'm gonna be honest. I will even
Thank you.
point out there are some questions. I think you answered them, but while doing your presentation. But yeah, we will have a short Q&A session
Yeah,
after my 5-minute part. And so yeah, stay tuned. And you can use this moment also to ask your questions.
yeah,
So let's share my screen. And there's why actually was one of the interesting questions that Peter asked. I know, Peter, thank you for coming so much. It's a pleasure. And it's one related question, how people force can empathize and all those good performance culture in general. So it's kind of related questions. And I think it's for me, sort of, right? Let me share my screen like this one. Can you see it, right?
yeah, all good.
Yeah. Good. Thank you, Brigitta. I was actually wanted to add so many things, ask your questions while you're doing your part, but yeah, we do have too less time, and
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, everyone who's interested in learning, growing, they can reach you directly afterwards, and us as well, and they will have all the presentations and all the materials as well. So we will stay in touch. But overall, my part regarding how PeopleForce can help you to support all this high performance culture, it's actually nothing super unique, nothing that is uniquely different that Brigitta said. It's actually everything. It's under the insights. For example, one-on-ones. One-on-ones, like Brigitta said, it's really, really nice tool to get the real feedback, right? And I just want to point out big to your slides, Brigitte, because there was really good insight that it already took regarding the closed and open questions, right? So in the People Force, for example, you can launch some of the templates like HR for the managers to do things, right? Just a suggestion, right? To ask not the closed questions, but the open questions as well, because like you said many times, it's all about transparency. It's all about humans, right? So we facing humans, we ask how they doing, and it's not about that employees should achieve 100% of the KPIs or goals each month. This is impossible, which is possible to get the feedback, this transparent feedback to align on things using recurring one-on-ones or one-time one-on-ones with, like Brigitta mentioned, with predefined agenda. So no one is surprised, unexpected. So yeah, those kind of questions, frameworks, recurring one-on-ones, plans, along all the way, actually, all the way from the moment you hired the employee, it will help you to think, ask, clarify the blockers, clarify the goals, align all those things. I'm actually repeating all the things that Brigitta mentioned, but yeah, there is everything just in the right place, so I cannot do this. Once again, about transparency, it's about OKR methodology, right? It's really a little bit regarding all this, and it all actually brings value because it's connected, because it's one place transparently. So you're giving transparent feedbacks to your managers with the employee. You're noting all these things, you aligning, you hearing the employee. And then when you will set up the goals, it will be also transparent. Ideally, like the founder of OKR mentioned, like it would ideally should be opened so employees not doing their KPIs just KPIs all days, but they seeing that it affects something more than divisions, department, my colleague calls. I see how, for example, other departments performing in what direction they're going. So it's really engaged me more. I see what we are doing, what my colleagues doing. So we kind of align as well. So a little bit regarding transparency, we can set up different kind of goals here. KPIs are also here. I'm not a fan of KPIs, to be honest. I'm a fan of the OKRs, transparent, cascaded, everything is clear, more modern, but KPIs, we also have them. For some cases, they are needed. So
And
KPIs, yeah,
yeah, and Zamir, each company actually selects what works for them
yeah,
best. So there is no golden standard that OKRs are better than
yeah.
KPIs. For in some industries, definitely OKRs are the best option. On in some industries, goals works better. So yeah, it depends.
I agree. Yeah, thank you for adding this. For some industries, it's just impossible to move to the goal setting because they used to do like for hundreds of the years the KPIs, right? And it's kind of might be even connected with some integration with some other tools, with some other parts. So it's really hard to change this mindset in the process, like Brigitte mentioned. So yeah, each company, different base, different processes already set up. So yeah, it's kind of different, and all companies doing this differently. And just regarding the performance review, it's never the time. We already talked with the Brigitta that there will be not never even 4 time. She mentioned that there was a 4 hour marathon, and even this it's not enough to cover this part. And I know this because this is also really important, complex. This is actually where all the things you mentioned before are kind of came into this part, right? As a culmination, as a combining this. So yeah, it's kind of complex thing, but I don't know even how to say this in the short way. You can measure different kind of things, company value, skills. It's like a flexible tool. It will pop up your all previous one-on-ones, your previous goals, your feedbacks that I will show you here as well that you can submit anytime or ask someone to submit, and they will be also included, and it will automatically give you some such metrics, some graph. You can see just the graph here, but there are some performance score, different group of peers submitted the reviews, managers, self, supervisors, mentors, everyone that you can imagine, you can add them here. And basically, of course, you need some skills to see what those numbers are. And I assume that Brigitte can help you with those. This is really this where those numbers starting to be more complex and more about numbers. But before this, like 19% of all different processes that you need to done in order to this part to be as more efficient as it's possible. So People Force allow you this to this all in one place transparently. So I'm really happy that we got this time with Brigitte because I think our idea, our value are really, really similar with what Brigitte is coaching and learning. And yeah, I think we're just on the same page in this dynamic world. So I think that was it from my side. I just don't want to go to deep side to the buttons. This is unnecessary. If you will be interested anytime, we are here on the internet. So feel free. So I guess we can start with the
Yeah,
Q&A part.
it's a
Yeah.
just to put the cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
That there is no failure. You either learn or learn. And Zamir, thank you for presenting the tool itself. It's so wonderful. Then the easy to use tool comes in supporting the companies, the HR managers in effective performance reviews, and 360 feedback review form is really gorgeous and helps to learn, advance, to get feedback all in one. So it's really nice to have tools, technology that helps to do all the work. Yeah, good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I agree. But I just want to add that, even though there are good frameworks, flexible enough, amazing like improvements, automations, this at the end, like you mentioned a lot of times, it's about humans and it's about
Yeah,
you, your expertise, and you're willing to grow. So yeah, everything
absolutely.
in your hand. This can help you a lot. But
Yeah.
I saw different cases where it's really come to you, where you want to be. So yeah, you can either rather use them or not use them or learn from such webinars. So all
Yeah.
depends on you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
thank you too
Good.
for
Thank
adding
you.
more context on all this one that we're doing as well.
Yeah. So let's open for questions. I know that the time runs fast and I'll skip the quick recap, but let's open for questions if we have some of them. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see them either on my phone. So can you
I can
read
read
some
it.
of them?
Yeah. Peter Usakov asked a really good question. What is your definition of the middle managers? Really
Yeah,
interesting.
so yeah, okay, great question. So, as I say, the middle managers in a most dangerous level. So definitely, it's managers who are above the specialist but lower than the top level. So it can be team lead, but as well it can be department lead because he's still in the middle between the top management, meaning between C-level and the specialist. So if you have people who you lead and still have and have C-level or not necessarily have C-level, but you have a manager on top, you are in the middle. The one who actually does a lot of job with employees in order to achieve company's result and as well achieve expectations that employee wants. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, sounds quite clear. Peter, if you want to clarify something, please add it. Yeah, nice answer. Thank you. So all of mid managers are mini versions of C levels, right?
You
Oh
can
yeah.
say so, but you know
Yeah.
that, but the how to say the challenges C-level faces and the challenges middle managers faces, so they are different. They are different.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. This is because every one of us on in different places, right?
Yeah.
So good. Thank you so much. Second question. Anna is asking how often should you do one-on-ones with the employee? I assume
Yeah.
she's also asking like not to bring stress to the employee who don't like doing often one-on-ones. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. As I mentioned previously, there is no like one correct answer because it really depends on the industry and it really depends on the pace. It really depends on how many employees you have and how they are working. For example, in some of the cases, definitely you will have weekly one-on-ones. For example, if the sales team, they really work in a fast environment, fast pace, a lot of things are changing constantly. So I would recommend in such way, whenever you have a lot of KPIs to monitor, to align, to agree, and so on, to have more often. It could be one-on-one meetings. But for example, if you have a team, okay, let's take an example. If you have I don't know, employee who is working on a more project-based tasks, yeah, and sometimes in 1 week there is no such a progress that you would have to what to discuss. So in such cases you actually can have meetings on a bi-weekly basis or even on a monthly basis. It really depends. On the other hand, for example, if you're a manager of 15 employees, you won't be able to make 15 one-on-one meetings each and every week. Yeah, so there are some of the elements to consider, but idea is to be aligned. If you feel that you don't know what your employees are doing, if employees feel that oh, my manager does not support me, so this is the indication that you need to meet more often. And don't be afraid to try to make them on a bi-weekly basis. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't support your environment and your industry and your type of work, make them more often. If it's too often, make them once per month. So don't be afraid. What is the key idea is not to make it in like chaotic way. I did in the beginning on the month once, and then I don't know, an employee doesn't know when it will be the second time we are meeting. So make them on your calendar as a regular thing. It's better to make more really but regularly than do it chaotically. Yeah, I would say so.
Sounds amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really about all this context, and sometimes those one-on-ones can finish just in a 5 minutes or 10 minutes, right?
yeah,
And most importantly, you meet it, you ask how you're going, and some cases might start from this question as well. I know it from on my experience. I didn't
yeah,
plan anything, but this question or some
yeah,
any others. So thank you for
yeah.
your wonderful answer.
Yeah.
Do we have time for one or two questions?
It's
Because there
fine.
are some.
It's
Yeah.
fine with me. It's fine with me. We
Okay.
can stay for another 10 minutes or so. If there are questions,
Mhm.
I will be glad to answer
There
them.
are some interesting questions, yeah, that
Great.
need your support. And so,
Okay.
Dimitri Juan asking, how can by the way, Peter and Anna, thank you for wonderful questions. Dimitri, how can people misinterpret performance-oriented culture and fail?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
complex
So
question.
yeah. So as we talked through the presentation, for me, it's about learning, adapting, and changing something faster than others. Misinterpretation comes then we set the team, the employees to be focused just on the goals, to achieve the goals, to how to say, there is nice saying in Lithuanian language, but it's about then we focus only on achievement, only on the goals. Despite all the other factors, we need the results. Let's do shorter breaks because we'll have more time to achieve some of the results. Let's skip the learning because we need to achieve more. Let's skip some meetings because we need to achieve more, better, quicker, and so on and so on. So this is the biggest misinterpretation because what it happens that teams and people becomes really competitive with each other. They start working in silos. They start working just for themselves, and they even one of the mistakes is then there are really big, huge incentives for achieving the targets. And then we raise the target, then we raise the incentive, and it all becomes about result. So this is the biggest misinterpretations about performance culture, because performance culture, it's about learning and improving to do things in a better, faster, and more qualitative way with the less resources. It's not about like going through the marathons and so on. It's about how we learn, adapt, and get more doing less. Even so, I can say even so. Yeah.
Wow, that was an unexpected, interesting answer. Yeah, really nice one. Thank you. If we have time for the last question, maybe I can add also regarding performance-oriented culture, like from my perspective, if you,
Yeah, sure,
there
sure.
is just yeah one example that was mentioned regarding one-on-ones, and you mentioned like closed and open questions. You can
Yeah,
still do your one-on-ones, right? And just put some raw template with closed questions, and it would be your framework that you're doing all weeks, but there will be um, it would be not efficient, right? The
Yeah.
employee will be just annoyed. So it would be just a basic check mark. Because you're just taking the framework and you're just doing this without really considering deeply why we do and why we ask questions and how we
Yes.
do them as well. So
Yes.
just my point, little regarding this example. The last question from Anna. Can other employees view the 360-degree review results of their colleagues?
Not sure how about in the people force system. Usually, then it comes with a 360 performance, 360 feedback results. Definitely, employees able to review the results uh, if it's done for them. If it's the feedback form is a for manager, I always encourage managers to share the results. Maybe not the report itself, but actually. To take few of the things that, for example, if this performance 360 form is for manager, I encourage all managers to share 1 or 2 points that they really good that they really do in a good way, and as well to share the development areas as well. It's so important to be open and transparent with the team that, hey guys, I know maybe I was not super well in communication. I really try to improve, and please help me, because asking for help to improve is on one hand it's so vulnerable, but on the other hand it's a power. Then you connect with your team that you are the same person as they are, that you are learning the same as they are learning, and you have what to improve as well. So definitely, most probably the report itself won't be shared, but I encourage managers to share the areas for improvement with their team. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I agree fully. In PeopleWorks, we also do this. We actually do this, I think, in two options. One is more popular one when you share those feedbacks, but anonymous.
Yeah.
Uh, Still, if you have like two persons in your team, you will probably know who it was. But yeah,
Yeah.
in more larger teams, I agree fully. Important to share. It's a good chance for you to grow. If you will not hear about those feedbacks, you will not grow in them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fully agree. And it was the last question. Thank you so much, Brigitta, for
Okay.
your answers. Yeah, it was super
Thank you.
insightful, interesting for me, and hopefully for those who was attending our
Yeah.
webinar.
So thank you. So thank you everybody for your attention. It was really nice to be here today. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can connect me on LinkedIn. I will be glad to answer them as well. And as well, I believe you can keep in touch with the People Force team in order to get more about the platform and functionalities.
Yes.
Yes.
Anytime. I think we will be in touch. It was super interesting. Thank you so much, Brigitte, once again. I
Thank
really
you.
looking forward in the future to have more talks with you.
With the
Yeah,
more
hopefully.
time dedicated
With the more time, yeah.
focus.
Minimum 4 hours. Next time,
Yes,
minimum four
minimum 4 hours.
hours. Yeah.
Yes,
So yeah,
absolutely.
that
Yeah,
sounds like a plan. So thank
good.
you once again.
Thank you and
Have a
goodbye.
great, yeah, start of the week and
Yeah.
goodbye to everyone. Bye bye.